Just joining us today, today's lesson is it's time to choose a side. It is time to choose a side. Amos is in your Bible. This is a part of the minor prophets, so it's going to be after Ezekiel and all those. It's going to be right after Joel. It's going to be the next book right after the book of Joel. It's in your minor prophets. And one of the last prophets that we had, the prophets that we had before it goes into the New Testament. Amos the 5th chapter, we're going to look at verses 21 through 27. And if you're just joining us today, today's lesson is it's time to choose a side. Now, for just coming on, let me give you a review of this. Jeroboam said, you know what, I'm going to come up with my own feast, I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to basically serve God in the capacity that I want to, versus doing what the Most High said. Okay? And we're going to see what the Most High had to say about that. Amos the 5th chapter, verses 21 through 27. Read verse 21.
I hate and despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
But he said he know their heart, right? No. The heart is in the right place, right?
No.
What did he say? I wouldn't do what?
He said, I hate and despise your feasts, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
Is this the book of Leviticus?
No.
Is this the book of J?
No.
If you're reading along with me in your Bibles, do you not see this in Amos the 5th chapter? And this is talking about what Jeroboam, you're going to see here, as we go through the scripture, this was talking about Israel, what they did, would come up with their own feasts, doing their own thing to pagan gods and saying, what we're doing it for the Most High. Verse 23.
Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy voice. But let judgment run down as waters and righteousness as the mighty stream.
But we're singing unto the Lord. It's Easter. It's Good Friday. We're singing unto the Lord. What did he say?
Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy voice.
This is not my words. This is not my opinion, people. I'm saying this because I'm giving this to you because I love you. But the Most High love you, and we're attending with the faith, as we talked about in Jude, the 1st chapter. That when you come in and do your own feast on your own time, he said, listen, I'm not acknowledging that. Verse 25.
Have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness for 40 years, O house of Israel?
He said, didn't you give me sacrifice and didn't you do the things that I told you when you was in the wilderness? And you got in the wilderness because of disobedience? Didn't you do that then? Verse 26.
But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Molech and chewed your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves.
Which you made to yourself. I'm the one brought you out of Egypt. I'm the one sent the Passover lamb so the death wouldn't come to you. I'm the one that brought manna out of the sky. I'm the one that brought water out of the rock. But now you're going to make a feast to some pagan gods? And saying that it's okay because God knows our heart. That ain't what he said, though. Verse 27.
Therefore I will cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith the Lord, whose name is the God of hosts.
Precept for that, 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. You will see that we gave you 1 Kings 12 when it started. And in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, you will see where the nation of Israel went into captivity into Assyria. Why? Because they were doing things that the Most High never told them to do. So if you think that it's okay with God to keep doing things that the Most High never said to do, to be a part of Easter, which is pagan holidays, which is dealing with pagan gods, you see what happened to Israel. You see what happened to them from doing this and doing things in their own way on their own time. He that is a friend of the world is what?
An enemy of God.
Now, There's no saying that you never give problems, if you never talk about problems, if you don't give solutions. Today, at the end, as we end all of this off, these last set of scriptures, I know we're going a little bit longer today. Trust me, I'm only doing this because I know if I don't give you all of it, me giving you a little bit, you would think that it's my opinion. I have to give you everything so you can make your own decision. I'm not here to persuade you with good speech. I'm not here to persuade you with cunning words or say yeah and being charismatic. I'm only giving you the word of the Most High because he loves you and he loves you enough for you to not continue in things that have nothing to do with him. This is not about ridicule. It's not about criticism. This is about love. This is about the awakening of our people. Today's lesson is time to choose a side. So now, we're saying that we're not supposed to do Easter. So what are we supposed to do? Go with me to Exodus 12th chapter. We can't talk about problems if you don't give solutions. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Exodus 12th chapter. Shout out to my brother Christopher. Glad the Most High led us and the cross paths. The brother. It's all glory belongs to the Most High, man. By Shem Yeshaya, Rawawak, brother. That's what it's all about, brother. All glory to the Most High. By Shem Yeshaya. Exodus 12th chapter. We can't get problems without giving solutions. Start with verse 1 there.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation.
Okay, stop right there. Now, I need you. I'm saying this. Now, go ahead and read verse 3.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man of a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for their house, for an house.
Okay, so you have to understand, when it comes to the Most High, he does not go according to what the man is doing. The calendar that we have today is based on pagan stuff. It's Roman. This is not originally the way the Most High set time. The Most High doesn't have 365 days. He has 364 because as far as the Most High is concerned, everything starts. Every year ends on the Sabbath and it begins right back there. So this year, at sundown on March 11th was the beginning of the new year according to the Most High. Now I'm going to explain that to you in a second and give you how we're supposed to line up in a second. Now, go down to verse 6.
And you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole...
Matter of fact, go back and read verse 3 again, because I interrupt you. Read verse 3.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying that in the 10th day of this month they shall take unto them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. Okay, so he told them, he said, now this is the point. And we said, now this is the day. We started a new year, as far as the Most High was concerned. Okay? And he said, and at the 10th day, you're going to go get you a lamb and get it ready. Then now go to verse 6. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Okay? So he's saying on that 14th day, remember I told you. Now, look at the way the Most High does. He created the earth in 6 days. Right? And on that 7th day, he called it the Sabbath. So when you start with the Most High calendar, where it starts, it goes 6 days. So according to the Most High, everything starts that Saturday sundown, which would mean Sunday in the world's day, but it's Saturday sundown as far as the Most High concerned. So that means then you count there 6 days. Sunday's the first day of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is 6 days. On that 7th day is the Sabbath. Not Sunday, but the Sabbath is on Saturday. The Bible tells us in the law, remember the Sabbath day and do what? Keep it holy. So that means on the 14th day, which would have been the second Sabbath of the year, you told them to do what, verse 6?
And you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Okay, verse 7.
And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the house, where then they shall eat it.
Okay, verse 8.
If they shall eat the flesh in the night, roasted with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
So he told them, once you get this lamb on the 14th day, this is how you're supposed to prepare it. This is how the meal is supposed to take place. Now, go down to verse 11 and he's going to tell you why.